Hey Heather,
Hi, how's it going?
good, how are you?
Good.
Okay, so hopefully now you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so here I am with my teacher account. And then what I did is I just grabbed this share with students. And so then in this other screen, I'm using an incognito window to pretend to be a student. So this is
Okay.
like what a student would see if they follow a link, whether that link's coming from Google Classroom or from this bright orange next step link.
Okay.
And so this is what they would see. And so if they've never done an Inq-ITS account, they need to say, no, I need to make one. It's going to ask them, is Carmen Rivera your teacher? In this case, yeah, sure. And then I'm actually, hopefully our students have either Google or Clever, but I'm just going to say that I am going to be Bobby Smith. And that's my activity. I'm going to create my account. I just want you to see how people to see how easy it is to
hmm
get in. And now I'm in and I can get going. And so now I'm going to be able to very quickly move through this lab. Now, imagine that I'm a teacher at home as students are doing this, and I want to maybe, I have meetings with other students or, whatever it may be that you're doing during your day. If you have Inq-Blotter open, just to open, right? And you could be going about your day doing whatever. If you have Blotter open, then as your students are working, if they're doing anything wrong, you're going to start to see that. So this is one that students do all the time. If I increase the roughness of the ramp is going to increase. And so teachers will say, or students will call their teacher and they'll say, this system's not working, it's broken. And Rex is saying, hey, I don't think your hypothesis can be tested because you don't have a dependent variable. And so they can ask Rex, what should I do? Or they can say, okay. Now let's say that Bobby Smith just messaged me, just emailed me as the teacher and said, hey, the system's broken. So if Inq-Blotter is open, I could be doing whatever in another screen, but I can click over to that tab and then I could open this up. Bobby Smith has created a hypothesis that targets an independent variable and may be struggling to understand what a dependent variable is. And so at this point, it could be helpful to say something to Bobby, like, could you read the goal and tell me tell me what the goal says and what your hypothesis should be if that's what the goal is. That's what I would usually say to a student. What would you say in this situation, Heather?
I would ask them what it is that they are changing and what they think would happen. And do that kind of verbally, and then direct them to input that into their drop-down menus.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times my experience is that the kids have it in their heads, but translating it into the virtual lab takes a little bit of training.
Yeah. I found it really helpful to have students have a piece of paper with them and actually write it out. Like if I increase, so writing it out, like big arrow up, and then sometimes actually with some students having them draw it out. What does roughness of the ramp mean to you? And then what does time to the end of the ramp? So what's a visual for that mean to you? I mean, I had a class with a lot of students with an IEP or students with ELD and many with both. And so having them visually write out their hypothesis helped them to really understand what they wanted to say here.
Nice.
Because if they get this hypothesis wrong, like let's just say, I get this hypothesis wrong, when they move forward to here and they start collecting data and they realize that they're wrong, then they're like, no, I have to go back, I have to start over. But with the Inq-ITS system, they could still get 100% with an incorrect hypothesis. Like if this had been my hypothesis from the beginning, that the roughness of the ramp increases, causing the time to the end of the ramp to decrease or to then if I had said that from the beginning and then got to this point and realized I had made a mistake, like students want to go back and they want to change their hypothesis, but we want them to follow through with their hypothesis, right?
Right, exactly. That's a huge part of science.
Exactly. So I'm just going to show you what happens in Blotter over here if I just randomly start changing everything, which I don't blame these kids because I love the different planets and the different colors and everything. So, oh, shoot. Okay. I'm not doing a testable hypothesis. Okay. The other thing I see quite a bit is students who do one trial and they want to move forward. That's another big one. But okay, so I want to be on Venus because I think it's pretty. Okay. And then roughness of the ramp. So notice if I collect the data that I'm supposed to collect, that no alerts are going to pop up. And if I do this, I want you to see what happens, right? Because if you're doing something else and then Bobby messages you, then you would see the struggles that Bobby's had. But I want you to see that if I did what I'm supposed to do and I say I move forward, notice it went green. So if Bobby fixes the problem on his own, it's going to actually resolve itself. Now, when I increase the roughness of the ramp, let's just say time to the end of the ramp, then let's just say that I say that it increased, it decreased, and or I'm going to say it stayed the same. There we go. I want it to say that supports my hypothesis. They always want to say supports my hypothesis because they always want their hypothesis to be correct. But let's just do, grab 3 of these. Okay, then I say I'm done. And Rex is going to pop up here. And Rex is giving me some help. And if I need more assistance, I can click I need more help and get a lot more detail there. But let's say that I contact you, the teacher. When you open this up, you can you see automatically where is Bobby in this activity. And then you can see the problem that Bobby's struggling with. You can see that his independent variable is roughness of the ramp. His dependent variable is time to the end of the ramp. You can see how he's scoring so far. And you can see all of the alerts that Bobby has had today, even if Rex helped the student to get past those on his own without your assistance. So having all of this information is really helpful when you're trying to help a student. So roughness of the ramp, time to the end of the ramp, then increased, this does not support my hypothesis. And then kids don't want to say that, but it's okay. It's totally fine. They can get 100%, even if they're saying this doesn't support my hypothesis, because that's what good scientists do, right?
Right.
And then I'm done with analysis and they can write up their claim, evidence, reasoning. Obviously, rubric is fantastic here. And hopefully this video has helped everybody to see how helpful it can be to use Blotter and to have this tab. It's right here. Just click Blotter, leave it open in the background while you're working, and then you can click over here if you need to help students if they're struggling.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Heather, for joining me.
Thank you for having me. This was really cool to see.
Thank you.